Hi there, darling. Every crypto season is essentially the same when you look at it through this narrative framework. So it starts off with a hot ball of money which ignites somewhere. And it's pretty much random for most people. If you ask 100 people out there what they think the next narrative is going to be, 98% of them will be completely wrong. And it's usually biased or they just have no idea. It's mostly random, okay? There's 2% of people who got it. But most of the time, the people who get it, they now are incorrect for the next seasons and the seasons after that. So it's really, really random, okay? Most of the time. So that's how it starts. It starts with an ignition, a ball of money. Then what happens is the snowball, okay? So you need conditions to be met. For example, usually it's Bitcoin going up. Bitcoin going up is like it's unlocking new demand, unlocking people's confidence again. And so you have this ball of money and Bitcoin going up. So ball of money is going in a sector, and then it starts to snowball. Now, if the flywheel continues enough, which is dependent on even more conditions, such as, is the market ready? Where are we on the cycle? How much money actually inserted? All these variables you basically can't even calculate anyway, okay? If it continues enough, it hits a critical mass where enough influencers and YouTubers and stuff basically start talking about it, okay? And in that first wave of them being able to start talking about it, if more demand follows after that, now you might have your actual flywheel reinforcing itself. And that's how the narrative continues. However, this will continue up to the point where a maximum time of about 2 to 3 months has passed. Now, this is interesting, right? Because in crypto, no narrative has ever lasted longer than that, ever, in crypto history. And do you want to know what's interesting, friends? We have all this evidence in that the longest time, it could last a day or it could last up to 3 months. Okay, pretty much about, up to 3 months or a day. Now, what's most interesting is, even though we have this stat, there has never been a single crypto narrative that has lasted longer than that. Still, whenever a crypto narrative is bestowed upon someone's portfolio or select group of coins, or they're participating in them, they will say this time is different. Every time. They'll say, no, this is just getting started. This isn't even a narrative. They do every single psychological trick on themselves to fool themselves again, to be like, well, no, it's actually not. Fascinating. Okay, you could literally go back, friends. I'm not joking. Every single freaking narrative, friends, in the Bitcoin history, we can go back, all of them have lasted about 2.5 to 3 months. DeFi season here. You have June, July, August, 3 months. You have the top of the crypto narratives up here, you know, February, March, April, around as well. Every single time, 2 to 3 months, friends. Every single time. So, knowing that, you would think when a narrative appears, people just start dumping. They don't, because it grips everyone. That's why the narrative is so hard to predict. So you got to think what's happening. You're like, wait a minute. Everybody knows that narratives are short term. Everybody knows everything drops in a bear market. And everyone knows the stories only last from 1 day to 3 months. If you're super, super lucky, okay, which is Soylana, Coinbase, AI, they've went for that 2.5 to 3 month, okay? So Coinbase was like a poke for a month, but you don't know when it's going to come back. You have no idea, okay? So you think with all that information, they're going to act more rational. They don't, which means something. It means the narrative itself is so random, catches them off guard, and ignites that much emotion that it's able to make people suspend belief, pretty much. Okay, it basically goes like, I don't like their belief in physics and cycles and everything else. That's how powerful it is when it happens. And you can see it. Why? Because the crowd gets sent into a trance. Like, everybody's on this, there's money going around. And then you have all the theories coming out. We're like, well, you know, even though we've gone up 50x in just 1.5 months, we're due for another 50x. And everybody has their theories. They'll say, well, you know, because Bitcoin's this high and the unicorn went this much and Doge hit 65 billion valuation, SHIB is still at this much, everything. They go, well, this thing is priced off this exchange, 100 billion up. All these numbers start coming out. And then, see, friends, once you have all the valuations and all the models start coming out, then you'll see, like, our good friends at Crypto Banter, who's a friend of the channel, Miles and Crypto Banter and Kyle, they'll have all the reports and all the nicely worded essays to present information to the audience, because the audience has now heard of this. The audience now has a fever, and now suddenly all the mainstream YouTubers are like, guess what? I've collected the best piece of information from my own research team. They've sent me all this. Because you remember, friends, Rand and Kyle and Miles, most of the time, now probably Miles is doing it himself, but a lot of these people, they're not actually clicking themselves. They have like, hey, send me the most important stuff here and there. They go into a room. So it's people just scouting around, okay? Because, you see, someone like me, I'm not, going around, oh, wow, look at this fantastic information all the time, okay? I'm reading the crowd. I'm sniffing the chairs of the crowd, and I'm drinking my cold glass of orange juice, and I'm thinking, okay, where's the trend going there? If I have to read a big essay about why this thing is great and why you're going to retire off it, it's over. All right, it's over. For example, if I have to read an essay about Richard Hart and the Tang Gang and P-Dye and all this other stuff, if I have to read like multiple respected individuals who wear collared shirts, who even put their tie on and shave, all these people who wear like brown leather shoes on Saturday mornings, which you should never do. These people, friends, you know, those types of people, they're like iron their shirts on Saturday morning and stuff to prepare for the week. These people, once they start making all their Medium articles and all these about it, it's over. It's literally over. Once they start bringing the tables with like, oh, this is comparatively, the PE ratio of this, like, it literally is fully over. It's literally over 100% of the time, okay? So the narrative, remember, to recap, it started with this little ignition somewhere out in the market. Something has to catch people, right? It could be an altcoin or an ASON. So like, example, right? Look how, just to show you how random they were, friends, buried in this candle, he had DeFi, so Uniswap and Compound Finance basically just getting wind, okay? Compound just is handing out yield as a useless token. That was the first time we ever did that. Then you have up here, you just had Pepe doing on its run to Binance. You also had up here, you had GambleFi, you had gambling coins, you had as well Telegram trading bots, and now they're all gone, completely gone. Up here, now you have Soylana and Coinbase. People are like, oh yeah, Coinbase has 100 million customers. They're going to come in and buy the top of my coins. And then you have, oh, there's a political election at the end of this year. Let's go buy politically associated meme coins. You see that type, see how random these things are now. That's why a lot of people try to guess the narrative next. Now, obviously, some people do guess them, but you're thinking, okay, what's going to happen for 2025? Friends, literally, the stuff that grips people's attention next, probably like no one's even looking at them at all, okay? So remember that. It started with the ignition, it snowballs in, and then it moves, and see how it moves. It moves to the point where you have so many people aware of it, like that one person out of 100,000 who's a good journalist, a good like writer, an explorer. These types of people who, like, you know, they can explore culture and they like get into the weeds of everything, and they get to say, oh, okay, who's this really smart person in this field and what's going on? And then the YouTubers will do all the interviews. Hey, how high do you think Friend Tech will go? Oh, GambleFi, tell me why that's the future. See, you got to understand what's going on, friends. The crowd sucks at investing. You understand? Look, I love all of you. You love all of you too, right? Everyone in Friendship Cult, okay? The crowd out there are terrible at investing. They are always succumbing to their own tragedy of the commons, which is they all want the same stuff, which is relevant. However, when they all want something that's relevant, it's because they've heard everybody else has made money, which by definition means everybody else has bought in, which by definition means when these people finally get what they want from the influencers who need to pay the bills and say, hey, let's cover the story because you, the consumer, you, my audience, you want to hear about Soylana coins after the 3-month run. You want to hear about cat coins on the 25th cat coin up there. You want to hear about that. So I'm going to deliver that to you. And the commons, right? The tragedy of the commons. That means like, oh my gosh, everybody has bought in. And now I'm listening to all this fantastic stuff and all these fantastic explorations and stories and all these. The end, friends. Do you remember NFT Mania back here, friends? This is back in Bitcoin, right? NFT Mania, friends. So NFTs have been running the whole time, okay? When did that weird song for We're All Gonna Make It? Yeah, it was actually, friends, it's funny. Mark Zuckerberg's sister. And like, it's actually true. It's actually his real sister. Mark Zuckerberg's sister sings to crypto, okay? This song. Look at this. Yeah, we're all gonna make it. Yeah. Like if you see these, friends, exactly, look at this. Released 2 years ago. All right, literally. Look at on March. Oh my gosh, look at that date. Friends, do you see that? March 2022. Friends, literally, I'm doing the sign across. Okay, I'm telling you right now, live on camera, this was literally the very end of the bull market. Okay? Not making this up. March 2022. Let's actually go and look at it right here. Where is March 2020? There you go. Look at this. It's funny. Friends, that was the final green month of Bitcoin. The actual last green month. Look at that. Bang, 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 bang. Look at that. Everything went down. Snap. It was the end. March 2022. You remember that date. That very, very date. It was then everything all went to hell. After that, you had lunar collapse, Celsius collapse. Everything went to zero. Hex drops. Everything drops. You see what I mean? So, friends, it's kind of amazing. I go through these stories. I throw out these examples. We go and find stuff. Oh, when was this released? It's like exactly, it just lines up perfectly. Okay, so that narrative, right? See how it ended? It ended. How did the NFT narrative end? It ended with culture, songs, what people expressive things, right? So you gotta remember what happens, right? First, it's the idea, then the demand kicks in the trend, all the buyers come in, and so many retailers have come in. So you have, friends, the earliest 10%, the next 30%, and then the final 60%, which unfortunately in crypto is like all the PvP suckers who are all the audience. They're buying in at the tops, right? They're all buying in at the tops and they're making the tops. And it could last, remember I said 1 day to 3 months. They're buying in at the tops. They're making these lower highs, upper highs. They think they're all going to make it. They think they're all going to make it. Who made it? The earliest 10%. The people who bought it when these people had no idea. There was no crypto banter shows. There was no top 10 ways to make AI coins. There was none of that. Okay. There was no like 15 Medium articles from these dudes sending out, oh yeah, these are the new VC backed AI coins and all these other Soylana stuff. There was absolutely none of that. They were just in it, friends. And guess what? They had so little belief that it was going to happen. That's why their portfolios are not 100% in that. That's why when you hear about it, one dude on like Toshi, for example, he put in like $37 into it. He made like, it was up to like 5.6 million or something. He's still holding it, which is crazy, right? So one guy put in $37. He's still worth, he probably like, 3.5 million. And people are still saying, you're early. You're really early, man. Like, wow, you're really, really early. Just see what I mean? Just do what I mean? Remember that person had such little belief in it at the time. He only put in $37. Imagine he put in $370. $370. You laugh at that now. See what I mean? So that's how random these narratives are. But think about that end. What's the end look like, friends? We had this earliest 10%. What's it look like? What's it feel like when the final 60% are now buying in? What's actually, see, friends, you can see it on a chart, right? You can see the charts. Now, friends, I know Gummy is going to do well from Crypto Bands Show, but I'm just going to use this chart as an example. This thing going like really high, 280 million market cap. When you start doing this, okay, when a lot of these start doing low highs, I could choose other charts, but Gummy going to do fine. Okay, just not in my personal buy zone for it right now, but that's what you start seeing, the lower high part, the double peak pattern. That is retailers coming in. It tries to go double peak. There's not enough buyers. You're getting dumped on again by the insiders. But also what we see during that time, not just the price charts, because actually you don't need the narrative stuff. You just look at the price chart, but it's not 100% perfect because you can always make higher highs and stuff. But you see all widespread coverage. Every day you wake up, Soylana, Coinbase, everyone's making mint. Here's all the stats. And it covers everybody, friends. It covers the nerds who post Soylana's bridging and transaction and bridges and all these, like the volume's going back and forth and it's hitting #1 ranking and all these on Deck Screener. You have the nerds posting that. You have the mainstream YouTubers and Twitter influencers who are covering specific reports on like, look at how much it's grown from here. If you do this, this is another 30x of the future. And then you have someone like Raoul Pal coming out and like a really, really gentle macro guy, macro who can speak to the boomers. He's like, well, he says, well, I've got 90% of my portfolio in Soylana. And yeah, it's fine because it's just achieved its network effect and stuff here and there. And like, it's obviously one of the chosen ones. Like you just can't deny it now. You see that type of conviction? At the same time, you have main character Ansem with his cat. He's going around in real life. He's getting recognized in clubs by girls for being a main character in crypto. How high can you possibly get after that? You're literally peak status. Peak status. What's next? A lot of people holding along. You ask them what's next. They go, oh, he's not on TV yet. He's not on TV yet. And then they're going to make a statue of him. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of stuff that's how they think. You might think, oh, that's crazy. No. It sounds crazy to you and me. But for people holding the bags, that's not crazy at all. Because I'll say, well, everybody thought, they always use friends. Richard Hart does this same talking point, and so do other people. It works so well. He's like, well, when Bitcoin went up to $100, it did 1,000x and everyone thought it was over. And then it went to $50,000 after that. It did another 500x. 500x. Do you know what 500x could do? That's what they always do, that same one. They take an arbitrary point from the unicorn and they extrapolate that growth and go, that's what can happen to you. They don't say that directly, but you get the point. You're talking about it every day. You understand, friends? So everyone does that. And by the way, I'll let you know, if I'm doing it, I'll do that. I'll have to do that. Like, this thing grew. And if you ever hear that from me, friends, just know that this is entertainment, us having fun. Okay, it is us having fun. Because you know me, friends, there is no target. There is no target. The target's euphoria. You understand? The target is your friend Somi walks out to the shopping center and someone buys me a kebab. And another dude says, hey, can you bang my wife on camera? I'm into that. That type of, that type of stuff, walking around. I'm like, okay. I'm going to go to Twitter. I'm going to go, all right, everyone, just literally liquidate everything right now. Just start selling. I don't care what you sell 10% today. I'll explain the story to me. I won't even make a video. I'll just tell you straight up. When we start, see what I mean, friends? Now, I don't know if I'm going to get graced with that type of like donation from the heavens above to let me know, oh my gosh, I'm peaking. I'm actually peaking. I don't go down from here, friends. It's all over from here. It's funny, friends. This would be the best recorded story in history where a man single-handedly calls a top on himself. Like, we get to see, right? That's why everybody in the bubble never knows it. Look, friends, I know, as I'm telling these stories, you're probably thinking about Richard Hart, Ansem, Soy Bankman-Fried, even probably Charlie Lee, all these other characters in crypto that have appeared as main characters over time. What would happen if they knew they could just sell themselves on the top? What would happen? See what I mean? So that's how these stories end up. But I'm telling you, there are, at the beginning, friends, you probably, okay, after hearing this, you're like, okay, so you know what happens when everyone's in, the memes and the culture and the music, Mark Zuckerberg says that's extreme parts of a cycle, okay? But you know what it looks like when everyone's in, when a mini crypto narrative has popped up like a mushroom. You know, you have all the influencers are talking about it, everyone's in, etc. Like you're seen as a heretic and stupid. Remember, friends, I still get messages today. This is what makes me even more convicted. Things I told you would happen, like a true prophet, are actually happening. In my Telegram, I get people saying, just admit you were wrong about Soylana. Just admit that, because so we can finally start bridging in and start participating on that and everything. And it's interesting. You go back and watch my videos on Soylana, friends, or anything last year. I said there is literally a near 0% chance that we'll get the next narrative correct ever. That's why I don't play that game. I don't play that game. I just look for cheap prices. That's it. I look for cheap prices, and I don't have enough time and attention to go through 50,000 coins every day. That's all I do. I look for good deals. Okay, so yeah. Soylana was a good deal last year. Okay, there's many other good deals, friends, as well. Soylana was a good deal. Dog with a hat was a good deal. There's also, but that's back then. We are in today. Okay, so what people want me to do is go, just admit you're wrong. And remember, we didn't care about being right or wrong. We're here to make money. Thinking about that past and going like, oh well, friends, yeah. So now in the future, you know, okay, if you see stuff, well, I didn't even know they're coins, but if you see stuff on other chains, even though it's not a chain you think is going to moon, maybe just collect it. Because you're like, you know what? You've come across it. Try to get something in. $10, $20, $50, even if you can get it in, if you can bridge in, whatever. Try to get in something because you're like, you know what? I just get cheap prices. That's it. That's what you want. So that's the most important thing to look at. And now, after seeing all these, friends, some nice gentle angel music, you see this. What's the golden question to ask now? It is, okay, we know what it's like at the top. We know what it's like when everyone's in. What do we look for at the beginnings? Well, as I told you, friends, I don't know the next narrative. No one knows the next narrative. The people who do know the next narrative aren't even that convicted in it. Otherwise, they would literally be 100% all in right now. Okay? Pretty much next to no one. So, all I do is hunt good deals. I look for cheap prices. If I'm looking at a coin, I'm not in love with it. You understand? Even though you're investing for the whole thing. It's like, for example, friends, crypto banter, right? Gummy. For me, I would like Gummy maybe at like a $40 million market cap one day. I would like that, and I will be a buyer. It doesn't ever have to get there, by the way. It could literally, friends, be stopping here and go to 300 or 400 million. I don't care. I don't care. I'm okay with that. I just hunt good deals. I mean, you've seen thousands of examples now. The dangerous situation you get in when you are having FOMO, you don't wait for the good deal. You get like a failed high anyway, and then it comes back down and it goes up to your thing. How many times you've seen that, friends, by the way? You FOMO in, it goes up, you think you've made it, and then like months and months later, it actually goes back down to the original price you wanted anyway. Such a very common pattern, okay? Hunting good deals. Friends, I didn't even make any of this up. I'm just following Warren Buffett. I just spending hours and hours and hours. This is many, many years ago, friends. Many years ago. Went through every single Warren Buffett material twice, right? And I kept it in me, and I did not even know crypto was an industry back then when I was looking at it. But as soon as I came across crypto, my brain just started linking this stuff together. I was like, oh my gosh, if Warren looks for good deals and he doesn't worry about the Fed and everything else, well, I'm going to look for good deals, and I'm not going to worry about, oh, is this dip over? Or is this going to be the next chain? What's this VC doing? Don't care. Don't care. Which is, it's, by the way, very contrarian to think like that. Because if you ask everybody in crypto, nobody thinks like me. No one. What everyone thinks is they have to be an insider to get in before the other mainstream influencers shill something. That is true. However, it's a fool's game to play. Because the influencers themselves don't even know. They are all bought. Okay, but what you can't buy is that first spark of demand. You can't buy that. But in some special cases, you actually can. Avalanche, this is where we lead to the next point, friends. Avalanche in 2021 got a season because it had something like, I don't know, like $400 million of money injected. I forgot how much it was, right? And it actually got a season from that. Well, I know a certain wallet with 170,000 ETH, the PulseChain sacrifice wallet, may or may not be controlled by Richard Hart. I think if Ethereum hits $10,000, that wallet is still going to have 170,000 ETH, maybe. That's 1.7 billion with a B. And I think Richard Hart can force a Richard Hart alt season. Okay? Now, how long it lasts and how powerful it is, that's random. We have no idea. It could last a day. It could last 3 months. But I tell you right now, the longer it lasts, the more people will say it's forever. So that's something to think about. It would be glorious if we went the full 2.5 to 3 months, because then I would basically, by the way, no one is, friends, you think about, no one is going to believe me when I say, guess what, guys? Every single alt season in crypto history has lasted about 2.5, 3 months. It's been 2.5, 3 months of Richard Hart coins going up. We've just had the big season and pretty much over. But I don't even know if we'll be able to say that, friends. It's going to be very, very difficult to say something like that at any point. But just to show you, you can apply this to everything. But here's the thing, man. Every single person believes that they're going to get a narrative for 2.5 to 3 months. You don't get that, friends. So that's like a unicorn amount. That's the full amount. Okay, it's literally hitting a jackpot feature, friends. That's what narratives are. Sometimes narratives just last a day or two. Racist coins. You know what I mean? That's a jackpot feature. You know what I mean? You hit a double. That's right. If you get the full 3 months, that's a big one. That's what everyone's actually waiting for. Make sure you like, subscribe, bell button, or catch you soon.